Oops. So hi guys in Ustream. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to call. Hey Phyllis. Hey Martin. Marcin.
Please.
Yeah. Yes.
Tony always used to say, like, this is already known.
Yeah.
And does it point into the, let's say, the experiencing what's happening is not, let's say, me, the person.
Yeah.
But that what is experiencing, that's always already.
Yeah, the case.
Yeah,
always.
And known.
Yeah, it's not really known, but because it can't be. But we can say that because it's easier in language terms. It already is, but you could say already known if we don't get stuck on words. But it can't be known because there's nothing separate from it.
Yeah, okay,
it is.
Because they're the one that knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so who am I talking to now?
I know.
Yeah. We all get. It's not the person. The person's an appearance appearing in this. So it's always stillness. And the stillness will never be known. It's just the person will begin to get out of the way, and then that's all there is. And then the character is still left, and that comes and goes in this. The character is very relevant with the body. I went shopping yesterday, I'm going on whatever.
It draws away the attention, you could say then.
It was, sorry?
Let's say the appearance of a person.
Yeah.
Draws away the attention from what is.
No, not at all actually. But just an energy appears with the person saying that's me. It doesn't matter what's appearing in what is. So if there's a character appearing in what is, then that's okay. That doesn't draw away the tension. But what does is this energy that says that's who I am and that's my end. That's my beginning. I started as the character and I'll end as the character. And I am its good traits, bad traits. I am the guilty actions, the perfect actions. I am what I own. I am what people think of me.
Yeah.
That's where the problem begins.
When you say what you are is everything.
Yeah.
That is the same if, like you say,
nothing.
You are what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or nothing, or aliveness.
So, and then, because the mind often always starts, like, all right, how would it be from this body or whatever. But there is only this experiencing. And experiencing would then be the equivalent as being. As experiencing this is being this.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And there's nothing experiencing it. It just is.
Yeah.
You know yourself by the appearance of it all, not by something that's experiencing it. So it just is. But we can say that because it's so hard to just say it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, who you are is the experiencing of it, but there's nobody experiencing it. It is.
Yeah.
We just have to keep destroying ourselves. There's nowhere to sit. If anyone else has questions, feel free to ask them. If not, there's some people that want to call me on Skype, so I will call them.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Bill.
Let me get rid of this other news. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you, Bill?
I'm good. I'm sitting here trying to get along, listening with Rupert this morning, and he's making me be aware of being aware, I think. And I still have to dig into that some more. that's his approach, and then I listen to you for inspiration, and sometimes that helps.
It might seem to help, Bill, but right now, who's it helping? Describe to me who it helps.
Well, I had an answer which was going to be nobody, or Exhibit check, which came from one of your wonderful videos.
That's funny. Exhibit check.
Yeah, I like that one.
So experientially, who is it helping now?
What do you mean by it?
Lisa's teaching, or Lisa's words.
Well, it's probably really just this Billy body mind that it's helping in this dualistic world. I'm not sure it's helping me toward enlightenment necessarily, but it's what I got, you know.
Yeah. In the flow of things, that's true. In the flow of things, that it might be that Lisa's words recondition the Bill in some way. Ooh. Ooh.
I'm here.
I think you just have to turn off. Oh yeah, you're there. So it might be that the words recondition Bill in some way, and there's an improvement in the Bill conditioning. It might be a disimprovement. We're not sure, but it might be an improvement. But that's not what we're talking about in these talks. But it might be that these words improve the conditioning in some way. It might make them less neurotic. It might make them relax against all the ideas that they're in control and that they've got to do something better or that they're guilty. But who's listening to Lisa now?
Well, who is listening? Well, it's Billy body mind listening, of course.
Can it? Can Billy? What are you calling yourself? Billy Bobby? Oh, Billy Body. Sorry, keep wanting to say Billy
Bill
Bobby.
Body.
Bill Body. Oh, this is a hard one.
The mind body, I guess, of Bill.
The Bill.
Yeah.
So, but how can Bill listen? Describe to me how, in this moment, Bill listens. The Bill Body listens.
Well, he's listening because there are vibrations that go back into the brain that stimulate some piece of it that brings some understanding, I guess.
Is that something you learned, or is that the experience?
That's something I've learned, you know, just how the body works.
And so in the experience, who's listening?
In the experience, who's listening?
Right now, who's listening without what you think you know?
Well, it seems like there's an I that experiences.
Describe to me the I that experiences.
It's an empty void.
It's an empty what?
I'm sort of echoing what I was listening to Rupert earlier today.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Don't echo what he says. Just down to the experience. What's the experience there?
Well, it's I don't know what to call it. It's just this emptiness because there's nothing there.
That's experiencing, and that's what it feels like.
Well, yeah, it does in a way.
It feels like nothing's experiencing.
Well, something is experiencing. There are experiences, and something obviously is experiencing the feelings or the voice, that sort of thing.
Are you sure that's not going back into what you know?
Somewhat, I imagine, yeah.
So right now, who hears Lisa's voice?
Who hears Lisa's voice? Give me a hand, babe.
Oh, I'm giving you all my hands and my feet.
I've got another babe here with me. The one you know. Anyhow, my wife, for people who are listening in, I don't know. She and I are pretty good working together on this, but sometimes she has answers that I don't, and vice versa. I don't have a good answer for you.
You're so good at confusing me, Bill. I'm so simple to confuse, actually. Okay, back to the point. So if we go back to the point, Bill.
Yeah, I would be proud if I could confuse you. Go ahead.
So, Bill.
Yeah.
Who hears Lisa's voice now?
Who hears Lisa's voice? It keeps coming back to Bill.
I know, I say Bill, don't I? I go, Bill, who hears Lisa's voice?
It's still Bill hearing
It's a trick question, you see.
Yeah, I know, but I don't...
I'm just joking. But who's hearing now?
Who's hearing now? This Bill body-mind.
That's what you know. That's what you've been taught.
Yeah.
So in the experience, who hears?
Well, I'm trying to deal with that because that's what I was sort of watching videos this morning about. Just being the experiencer of things, but the experiencer is an empty space, and I'm beginning to sort of adopt to that or understand that.
You can't, Bill. It's impossible. It's going to hurt you to try and adopt to it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's going to hurt, because then you're just going to try and squeeze yourself into another identity. So, but experientially, the freedom is right there in the experience, not in what you think you know. So when I ask this question again, it's got to be answered without anything that you know intellectually. So don't look intellectually. Who's hearing Lisa's voice?
Who's hearing Lisa's voice?
But don't think about it.
I can almost just say nobody.
You thought about it there, though. I could feel it. Okay, one more time.
Not really, but...
one more time. Okay. We're going to get to God. Don't worry, Bill. I can feel it coming, although we are getting a bit lost in the giggling. Okay. So, right now, who's looking at the computer?
Who's looking at the computer? This Bill body-mind is looking at the computer.
That cannot be true. That's not the experience. You have to think about that to know that.
It seemed like last time we talked this way, I was going to ask you a question, which is, who's watching the video now? And get your answer. I know you're trying to drag something out of me, and I don't know if that's supposed to develop me or well, that's the only way I can learn it.
It's really nothing to do with Bill, but it's hard because we're apparently speaking in this dualistic language, so it's hard to say in words. But this is totally experiential, Bill, and this has nothing to do with what you think or what words I'm saying. Right now, there is stillness, and stillness is everything, and it's everything which is listening to Lisa. Everything is listening, and that's where God is. That's God. And in that appears this person that says, I know this, I'm experiencing it, it's the Bill body-mind experiencing it. But that's another appearance in this. But that appearance gets sucked into this claimer that says, that's who I am, that's me. And then this limitation, this fake cage builds up. Who you are is everything, and who's listening is everything or nothing. Emptiness or fullness, whichever way you go, it's the same thing.
So that's emptiness, then. Where do we go from there?
Everything. Nowhere.
In the 5 years or so that I was in that little group you met with the second night you were here in Raleigh, it seemed like there've only been about 3 or 4 people that awakened in that time, so to speak. It's interesting. I'd like to cut that short by about 4.5 years, but I've heard people say it's an act of grace maybe that causes awakening, and I've heard you say there's really nothing I can do. The more I try, the worse it's going to, more painful it's going to be, and I understand that. So I don't know what I'm trying so much anymore. I listen to some videos. I listen to yours. I like Rupert's and a few others.
But it's really got nothing to do with you. Even all this whole story about awakening, there is no awakening.
I know.
Who would awaken, Bill?
I understand that intellectually.
Oh, yeah.
That it's all, I've had people tell me, yeah, you're awake. You just don't know it.
So what is it that's looking now?
nothingness, oneness. You know, I could kind of go back into oneness, but, you know, I don't really feel that it's
yeah, I know, I can tell I haven't broken you.
Yeah. You haven't, you haven't broken the coconut yet.
We do it, but then the coconut repairs itself. It's amazing.
Well, you've got to guide me a little bit, because I still don't know exactly what I should do to be not doing, so to speak.
But that's impossible, because you don't exist. So I can't guide you.
Yeah, I know.
There's speaking happening now, but the speaking is the stillness. It's another. This speaking is the same as the illusion of self. It's another thing appearing in this, and it would be terrible agony if the me energy then claimed that it was Lisa speaking, or it was the wall, or it was the light. It's terrible to identify with one particular thing, because everything's continuously moving, and the nature of things is for it to appear and disappear simultaneously. But the separate self is constantly claiming to be particular objects, and then great agony begins because it can't maintain and hold on to that. As soon as it's claimed to be something, it's gone. As soon as it claims to have things, it's gone. Because the nature of life is to move. That's what makes, but simultaneously it's empty. But that's what makes it so spectacular, is its ungraspable. Oh, I can't say that. How do you say that? The inability to grasp it. That's what makes it so dreamlike and fantastical. The fact that it's gone, it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. You have gone. The whole Bill that had that whole life living on the farm with horses, the kids, that's all gone.
That's true.
It's gone. It's never coming back.
And see, I understand that, and even in daily life, when my gal and I are out, you know, things happen, and we sort of even think about things that are just happening, and I don't know whether that means anything. I realize we're not trying to fake it till we make it, but it's the idea that things happen. We don't make a lot of hard judgments about things. You know, we have a comfortable life. There's not something we want except this ability to see, I think.
But that person is not the experiencer. That person will never wake up. That person that I described that's gone, that's constantly going, it's constantly going, that illusion of self, is not the experiencer. That's the difficulty when this energy is claiming that to be you. The character is constantly going. Going, going. You can't hold it.
I understand that very well.
Yeah.
But, you know, living that is something, understanding it in the mind, intellectually.
But who could live it?
That I just, you know, I can't grasp it. You know, like I said, I'm a technical guy trying to get into a very abstract.
Well, actually, the technical guy is the abstract bit. This is really simple. This is the direct experience. This is very simple. The technical guy, the illusion of self, is the abstract. That's very abstract. That you are something that's not here. You are an imagination that comes and goes. How crazy is that? You are a story that appears and disappears. I came into this room, I sat and looked at the computer, I'm looking at a computer now, later on I'm going to go out with Ganilla, tomorrow I'm going to go there, and I've been with this group and I don't understand it, and I'm never going to hear it, and when am I going to awaken? And I've heard it's a grace of God. That's the abstraction. That has never been the experiencer. It's been an experience.
Well, I'm stuck. I don't quite know how to get beyond it. And I know you're trying very hard to get me through this.
Actually, I'm not trying very hard, but I
Just
should try harder. No. But
I don't really have, I don't know what else to say, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you can watch this back later, Bill.
Yeah, I'll watch it later. I did mention that we are going to a retreat at the end of March for a weekend.
Yeah.
With Bart Marshall. You know, he used to lead our group.
Yeah.
And his wife. So I don't know if that'll do anything or not. You know, being live. I think when you were here and you and Melissa live really sort of seemed to get into my skin somehow, my system, my soul, whatever you want to call it.
We did.
So I'm hoping that maybe, maybe when you know, something will happen. You know, things have sort of happened when I've met with them before that have sort of felt like I was almost getting converted, so to speak, but they didn't yet. So maybe this will work this time.
Well, it can't, but that's okay to think it.
I hear you, but anyhow, I'll talk to you when it's probably over. I don't want to take up too much time from other people who may be able to get that you can get through to, but I want to thank you for your concern and for calling me.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
You were saying that conceptual knowledge is always disappearing.
Yeah.
But it's always coming back again and again.
Yeah, in different formations maybe though. Yeah, and the habits of the character seem to appear up.
So there's no, not knowing cannot, if life is moving from the known to the known and so on, there's no other way, is there?
Well, there is actually, because when the illusion of self is there, it thinks it knows, and it thinks what it knows is truth, or most of what it knows is truth, or it thinks it actually knows things, like this is a chair, and this is a person, and this is Lisa. But the energy can swap from you being that limited person to boundlessness, where the person comes and goes in it. But there's no longer an energy saying that is who I am, and this world isn't seen through the lens of that illusory person. The illusionary person is another appearance like the light.
So it's possible, but it's impossible to reach out for it. Or...
It's impossible for the person to get there. But that sounds really... Oh, that's a nice sound. It's impossible for the person to get there, because the person's always moving in time, but who you truly are is always there. It's always this. Always. When has it not been this?
You mean what's happened? What's
happening, what is, and what is perfectly still, boundless, it's eternity. It's when that person moves out of the way, or it stops claiming to be who you are, this is seen as eternity, or love, everything, or emptiness. It's so free, this. It's only the person that's not free. In all its, even if, the other day I was watching something, and it was this really ugly scene, but it was so beautiful in its ugliness. When the person's not there, when the person moves out of his way, God is in the detail, all the detail. You are in everything. And that's where true love is.
But it's impossible to know it.
Impossible to know it. So then it comes to, who am I speaking to now? The mind, the person, will claim that I'm speaking to them, because that's all it knows. But if that person steps out of the way, then this is beyond not as, I mean that's magic. When the person steps out of the way, who am I speaking to? And then it's like an endless echo.
And yet there's perception.
What does perception mean to you?
Seeing, I can't say there's nothing. See?
But there's everything, you're right. There's everything. But everything is no thing. This isn't a divided reality. When everything's really comprehended, it's not a thing. When there's everything, there's no thing.
Yeah, there's still, knowledge creates the division. So.
Well, actually not necessarily knowledge, it's the person that claims the knowledge. Knowledge is free to come and go. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes.
Can one see the person? Or?
No.
The claimer. It's not a thought, is it?
The claimer is a combination of thoughts and energies and feelings. So you can't really see it because it's... Maybe the best way to describe the claimer is feeling like an energetic contraction inside the body. But then the one that sees it and labels it would also be part of that. But yet it's appearing in freedom. It's appearing to whom? Who knows that energetic contraction? The thought might come up and say, I know an energetic contraction, but who ultimately knows it? Like everything. So if you're on Skype, you're more than welcome to call. Where's my passcode? Hey, Jem. Hello?
Hi, Lisa.
Hey!
Oh, hi. I'm on the iPad, so I can't see Ustream. I've not figured out how to get that up at the same time as
Yeah,
Skype.
I think it's impossible on Ustream and on iPads and iPhones. I think it's either one or the other.
But can you see me?
No.
Oh. Okay, well, we can't see each other. That's fine.
I know, it's so funny. We're so used to seeing each other now with Skype when we speak.
Yeah, well, I'm so used to seeing you, but of course you're not used to seeing me.
Oh.
I don't really have a question, but I don't know, I'm just a bit confused. I think I've overdosed really on watching people talk on YouTube and stuff, and maybe that's the problem, but Well, I want to talk about experiences anyway.
The trick with problems is you never know what the problem is. The mind comes up with ideas about what the problem is, but it really doesn't know. We're not even sure whose thoughts are whose, let alone who has what problem. It's just a clusterfuck. We never know anything, really. And then we're like, I think it's because I've overdosed on YouTubes of non-duality, or I think it's because my partner says da-da-da-da-da, but we never really know. We don't know. God knows how energies appear or what happens.
Yeah, God knows. But what I wanted to talk about was, you know, these experiences, we have these experiences or awakenings, and we feel like, you know, oh, this is it, like you've arrived.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
A lot of people are saying, you know, there's no arrival point.
Yeah.
But yet, when I listen to people, I can see that they're not attached. They're not attached to the emotions and the dramas that come. And when you've had an experience for a few days or a week, say,
yeah,
you're not attached, and then that goes, you feel like you're not there. You have lost it in a way.
Yeah.
The most recent experience I had, it was like it went on for about 3 days, and it was like every thought was seen through instantly. I realised I didn't know anything, and I understood exactly what people meant by free fall, and there was just no one left. I totally got it. But yet I got it, and I was so amazed that I'd got it, and it was laughable, but at the same time there was no one that got it. I saw it basically, and then now I'm back to, well, I don't know if I'm back. I don't know if I've gone backwards, but all I know is that things are happening. I got into a jealous thing with my partner, and I was in it. I couldn't really see that I wasn't in it. I couldn't separate myself from it, so I felt like, oh, well, I'm not there then, am I?
Well, firstly, the two fake ideas that came up was, I am there, and then I lost it.
Yeah.
There are two, because who would get there, and who are you judging that should be a certain way? How do you know how the character should be?
Yeah.
And what do you even know freedom to be?
I don't. I guess I felt like it was having, especially listening to you, it's been quite freeing, because to hear that, yeah, the character carries on, and sometimes when you describe your personal experiences, that really helps. And I've been going through these sort of dramas, if you like, and I've been feeling them fully, and I feel like, well, maybe if I went back a year, I would see there's a difference. I'm not quite so attached. I don't know, and at the end of the day, I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, because you're still looking at liberation as something that happens to a person in time.
Yeah.
Who do you think waking up happens for?
Well, no one.
So you can never judge waking up, because you can only judge waking up like it's how the confusion of the person begun. You can only judge waking up by the illusion of the person. So you can only judge it by what the character does or doesn't do. And then you think, the character is not enlightened because it does this. But that's still the character that's saying that.
Yeah.
What happens in waking up is there's a shift from being that bound person to everything, but it's not for the person, because the person carries on appearing in this. So right now, who's hearing me? Who's hearing the Lisa voice?
Well, it's just there.
Yeah, and you know yourself by the appearance of it. The same way as you know yourself by the appearance of the character, as the appearance of the room. But the character wants to keep coming back and saying, okay, I'm not awakened because I got jealous. Jealousy is so normal in the human body. and in all animals' bodies.
I think the thing is, this is it. Why I think I've gone wrong and I can't be there is because I reacted, like I got jealous and I sent a nasty text. And I felt like what I should have done is got jealous and felt the jealousy.
But it's not. Yeah, but it's not the person that wakes up.
Yeah.
That's the illusion. This is where the person's coming back, believe it or not, and the person thinks it's coming back through its bad reactions, but it's coming back because you believe that the waking up is a personal thing. What's happened in those couple of days that you described, but it's so unknowable, you can't know this at all intellectually, is that the energy that was claiming to be the person faded, and there was this energetic expansion back into everything, and everything was watching. Then the person comes back in and says, I'm not enlightened because I'm jealous. And then begins to feel more and more like you're that person again, and it was that person that experienced everything. But that person can't experience everything because that person appears in everything. It's never the person that wakes up, but there's so much change that happens normally in the person with waking up that we associate them as the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Well, there's so much change. Normally, I think like, what's his name again? There's one guy that says it's like in most cases 70% of the neurosis goes. But I mean, even that's setting up a false character, but there can still be neurosis, but a lot of the neurosis go. If the person keeps thinking that it's about not being neurotic, then the person's claiming to be the one that's enlightened again. It's not the person that gets enlightened. The person was never the experiencer. It was that energy that kept saying, I am the person, I am the person, I am the body, I am. There is everything, and the person comes and goes in it. You will never see your own enlightenment. You just are enlightened. You can't see your own enlightenment. As soon as you see it, then you're back in the personal world.
But is it a constant seeing, or is it always...
No, it's not a seeing by anyone, it just is.
Yeah.
Who hears now? You can't know that you're enlightened, but it's not the person listening. It's not the person that's waking up. Who hears now is perfect, brilliant stillness, which is everything and no one thing. And I can feel energetically even saying that's a bizarrity, because who feels it? But this is just the stillness speaking to stillness, that this is known there. Just the person keeps coming back and going, it's like those movies, Freddy's back. Like it keeps coming back and saying, I'm waking up. And keeps looking of the change of the character to mark its own enlightenment.
Yeah.
The character still goes on doing its crazy things. It's most probably a lot less neurotic and a lot more easy to live with in certain cases. I can't say that actually. Maybe it's harder.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, my daughter just came in. I told her to shh. Yeah. Are you still there?
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, maybe I should let someone else have a go.
Oh, lovely to speak to you, Jem.
And you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, bye.
Does anyone else have a question in the room? Yeah.
So you were talking about, or she was talking about awakening. Could you maybe say that there's an awakening when the person falls asleep?
Do you mean that as in the person falls asleep, as in the energy stops claiming that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say it the opposite way around in a way. Yeah. The person, though, I mean, in the personal story, the person can seemingly have many different awakenings, but then ultimately that gets chucked in the bin as well. It's got nothing to do with the person. Hey Terry!
Hi, Ethan.
I like the quote on your Skype. I can't read it now because it's gone.
I don't really remember which one it is, but I know it's a non-dual one.
Yeah. It says basically you've been knocking from inside. You were knocking to get in, and then you realised that you were knocking from inside.
It's a Rumi quote.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. So, that's it.
That's it.
It's been a while since my attention was drawn to this kind of talks.
Yeah.
And lots of experiences have been drawn.
Sorry?
Lots of experience.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
Very happy.
Oh, nice.
So, I don't have really something to say. But
Okay.
a big thank you. Not one.
Sorry? Thank you.
Just a big thank you to say.
It's you, but I will take the gratitude. But it's you.
Right. I exactly very well understand what you say.
Yeah.
I have to just cut the sound of the string.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's better. It's been a bit hard to hear.
So, lots of silence. Lots of
When it comes to it, there's really not much to say.
I just want to tell you that this field of nonduality was such a beautiful flower.
Oh, wow, thank you.
And after decades of anxiety and frustration.
After what, sorry?
After decades of
oh yeah,
frustration and anxiety, chronic anxiety. It is such a release. I don't know anything at all. And everything is here. Like like it used to be, but that without this obsession, maybe, I don't know. It has been difficult to catch you live. Mostly because I really have a hard time to be on time on every setup, on every rendezvous.
Yeah.
Oh, last time I I've heard you talk about French guys, French people.
Yeah.
Makes me laugh. That's quite true. You remember?
Yeah. I've been rude to French people over the years. I called them mental masturbators, and then a French person wrote to me and asked me to explain what a masturbator was. I was like, oh. Then I stopped using that word.
Well, I guess you are a wonderful teacher. Yes. But I really have a hard time to listen to French non-English speaking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've never heard it. I don't understand French.
There are few ones, but
I can imagine it's very intellectual.
yes.
But before we get into criticising everyone, I always come back to, I don't know, maybe that's what is needed in the French countries. You never know how energy is expressing itself.
Absolutely.
You really don't know what's happening.
Just it's very tough. We never know.
We never know.
That's so good.
We're alive! Who? I don't know.
Who is alive? 3 years. And it doesn't mean anything. So Lisa, I just wanted to show up a little bit.
Oh, well, lovely to speak to you, Terry.
And say a big thank you to you and to all the people which are listening to the talk.
Yeah.
There are 68 people.
68, and then there's a few in the front room as well.
Oh yes, hello. Hello to all.
Sorry?
Hello to all.
Hello to all, yeah.
I'm back.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Does anyone else have a question here? Pressure.
It's not a real question, but maybe it will become one. Once you said when people think they see themselves, and it really resonated. Because that's what's happening. It's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And we think, people think they see themselves. And if it's not there, then you are like a dog or a cat. And there's just what is.
Yeah.
So it's really an additional something.
And the character can still appear, so there can still be the seeing of the character, but the character's always moving and it's never a definite thing. Like there's no solid character really. So the character can carry on appearing, but it's no longer appearing for anyone. Mm-hmm. But the character's always changing, it's always being reconditioned and changing. So even if there's an energy that comes up and thinks that it sees the character, it really can't. Like even the character is not permanent and constantly moving and changing and evolving and de-evolving, whatever it is.
Yeah, because the belief that it's a continuous something, it strengthens the belief in it, in fact.
Yeah. But the character will always, I mean, I call it the character, in a way it's a bit of a stupid way to say it, but the personality will always still come and go, and when somebody says, what did you do yesterday, that will be described by the body, but that person that did something yesterday is no longer you, it's no longer the experiencer, and it's no longer separate from everything else, it's another appearance happening in this. It's like everything, like even if we say we think we know what the problem is, relatively we could say the fridge is broken and we know that the motor's gone, or that somebody didn't bring shopping or they bought the wrong shopping, but ultimately we don't know what the problems are. Like, so she was saying, I think the problem is I watch too many YouTubes, or we really have no idea how this is working, or what's happening, or what's being felt for whom or for what, or it's just happening. We know so little. Communication was only about practicality, so we could fix the fridge. Never about the person. It was never about. It's just the person's got so obsessed with itself, so it obsesses over its emotions, what it feels. I feel bad because, and then it obsesses about all the reasons, and it's looking in such an abstract world. It's all made up on fantasies, and then it tries to find a solution in a fantasy.
Yeah.
Impossible. But really, when we're talking, even though I've said all that, I've forgotten what I've even said now, but really what's happening is we're dissolving, or there's a dissolving back into just everything, just stillness. That's really what these talks are about. The words are just an excuse. There's somebody else calling. Isabel.
Hi.
Hey, Isabel.
Oh my God. I'm so confused. Okay, what do I turn off?
So you need to turn the volume off Ustream or turn Ustream off. I speak to you through Skype.
Hey, Isabel. Okay, let me do that. Is that it? I'm so confused. Okay, what do I turn off?
So you need to turn the volume off Ustream or turn Ustream off. I speak to you through Skype.
Oh, Skype. Okay, I got it. Oh my God, are you there?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
It's like you made it through all the different voices. It's like the illusion of self, all these voices. Who am I? Which one am I?
Do you see me?
No, I don't see you.
And I don't see you.
No. Sometimes I see the person, though, in Skype. They put their camera on and then they don't know they've been watched. So they're picking their nose, scratching their butt, and then I tell them at the end, and I know they haven't known. They're like, what are they doing?
Oops. Oh, it's so nice to connect with you. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. It's really lovely to speak to you as well.
Oh, my heart's pounding.
We can take our time, there's no hurry.
still don't understand. I'm not quite catching on to in time and space or anything, but I get none of that matters. So. I want to let you know I love when you share whatever it is you're sharing. It's so glorious for me to just get bathed in the words and the presence and
yeah. It's such a beautiful subject, non-duality, and it's not just particularly Lisa that speaks it. There's many people that are speaking it, but the most important thing that's happening, the words, the intellectual understanding is happening, but the most important part is it's stillness speaking to stillness. In most other conversations, it's always a person speaking to a person. So now I'm not speaking to you in time, I'm speaking to stillness, and it's not even me speaking to stillness. It's stillness making these sounds and stillness hearing these sounds, which is absolutely glorious. There couldn't be a more beautiful message.
it's like an oasis.
It's like a what, sorry?
Oasis.
Yeah. It's absolute love. To find yourself in the very sound, in the very sights, in every object, rather than somebody that's experiencing the object, is love. It's what's always been looked for by the separate self. It's constantly trying to find that love, but it thought it was in other people, in situations, in solving its problems, in having a perfect life. It looked in limitations.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot there was somebody still there.
Oh,
I forgot you were still there. We all disappeared. Everything just disappeared. 2 hours have passed. It's now 10 o'clock. I just have some more questions, so I'll move on to the other questions now.
thank you.
It was lovely to sit with you, Isabel.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ditto.
Bye.
Bye.
You can call if you want, Bradley. Oh, okay. Hey, Sam.
I forgot you were still there. We all disappeared. Everything just disappeared. 2 hours have passed. It's now 10 o'clock.
I'm this one, by the way, Sam, on Skype. You got to turn the Ustream off.
Got it.
I thought you knew. I was just watching him.
I wasn't going to call today, but
It happened. You've got no choice over the matter ever. We can think whatever we like, and then something else happens. We're like, no more cake. Oh, okay. We're having more cake.
And I think it seems like the circumstances in my life have been more challenging recently, and I think, is that maybe to show me that that's not who I am, or?
Oh, God knows how it's all working. You will never be able to work it out. You'll never be able to find the beginning or end to anything. But that will be relaxing for the character if you tell yourself that. That's okay. But if you tell yourself it's got a purpose, then it's more relaxing. It's like, okay, now I can deal with the bad shit if I know it's for a future good.
Yeah, so it's just happening.
It's just happening, like everything. And it's never found, what you're looking for is never found in anything you know about what's happening. Even if it's shitty or beautiful or whatever it is, it's found in the fact that it's happening. It's always who's experiencing it. And life is opposite, so it's going to produce, most probably, in the flow of things, half pleasure, half pain, half dark, half light. And it's not for you. It's when it's for you that it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because you has a lot more opinions about how it should be.
Yeah.
And what it knows is better. Or thinks is better.
I guess there's no point thinking about it, but...
If thinking happens, it happens. You can't help it.
Yeah. I'm not sure about other people I've listened to. I was in the impression that I can't just let everything be. I have to focus my attention and stop listening, stop getting run away with all my thoughts, and have certain things not to do, which can lead you more into thinking in the mind. Is there any truth in that?
Well, there's no truth in anything, but if that's what's appearing, that's what's appearing. I mean, there's no truth in anything because all things move. So you can't hold up one thing as truth. You can't hold up this method or that method or this way of being as truth. But if something's touching you, then that's what's happening. If something's touching the illusionary character and there's a pull to do something, then that's what's happening. But I can't give you a map. Life isn't like that. It's not like a map. Like if there's a strong emotional pain and there's some technique which is helping that pain, then there's going to be a movement towards that. Just like there's going to be a movement towards tasty food opposed to horrible food. There's going to be a movement in towards feeling more comfortable for the character. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if some teaching is touching you about the progression of the person, then to listen to my words and think it's all pointless is completely misunderstanding my words. But that's what's happening. If the character's being touched by meditating or feeling emotions or releasing emotions, then that's perfect. That's just as perfect as if it's being touched by music or whatever it's being touched by. But you aren't that person that's being touched. Who you are is stillness, which is everything and nothing simultaneously. And true freedom is the movement from being a limitation to everything. But it doesn't mean that limitation still doesn't seek to make itself feel more comfortable. That's okay, but you aren't that person that's seeking. You aren't that person that's releasing emotions or coming to terms with its past, or you are everything. This is now everything speaking to everything, or stillness speaking to stillness. You are totally free and have always been free, and it's always been that freedom that's experiencing everything, not a limitation.
It's so easy to forget, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's not even your fault that it's forgotten. It's that a film's been put on, and that film has taken centre stage. It's not. It's like a film's just been played of an illusory person, and it's not even that you've forgotten it. It's just that life decided to turn on the play of separation again. And then it gets all involved in that separate thoughts and fixing and doing and da-da-da-da. And then life stops that, maybe through this conversation, and stops that play. And then it's like, oh yeah, everything.
Okay. Thank you. I know there's no need to thank you, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright.
Nice to speak to you again, Sam.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Bradley.
Hey, Lisa. Thank you for calling.
My pleasure. Just to let you know, Bradley, I can see you because I think that you don't know.
Okay. So, seeing and what is seen
is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Seeing is actually happening by all the appearances, not by somebody seeing it. Seeing and the appearances are the same.
And that is where we know, if knowing is the right word or useful or anything, but that is where it is revealed, is that there's no separation, is because there's no
thing experiencing this. There is just everything.
And there's no space between the doing and the subject, right?
Yep, and the seeing and the seen. There's no separation. There's no distance. There's no space. So you know yourself, if we take out the you, but just in that sentence, you know yourself by the appearances, not by the imagination of the illusory character. The imagination of the character appears in this and is part of this, but not the experiencer. The experiencer is everything or no thing.
So that's where we know. It's where I know, or I experience amness, is in the doing of the experiencing, and not the Bradley's doing, but in the ing version of everything happening at that second, right?
You could say it, but in a way, I mean, if you said amness is everything, in a way, there just is everything. Amness is everything, you could say. It's like consciousness. Kind of, by saying it's everything, it implodes itself. but this is. It is, right? This is. But who experiences it? Nobody. The trap's always been that a limitation, an idea experiences this. This is infinity experiencing. The infinite experiencing. But the infinite is nothing.
So whenever you say who, the answer is, and maybe I will know that answer mentally sometimes, and sometimes at this point I see that answer a little more clearly. That's the answer is there's no thing experiencing it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And it's not you actually that knows it, it's you that's stepping out of the way, and then it's so apparent. But for nobody.
Right.
And then when the person comes back, the person intellectually remembers it. And that's okay. But it's totally experiential. And total love. When the person does tend to come back, it comes back with many variations, but it's a goal when it comes back is to be something, because that's what the person's always tried to be. So then it can sometimes be uncomfortable because it's desperately trying to be something. It might start off trying to be everything or nothing or enlightened or knowing something, because it just wants to stabilize appearances and itself. It can't. Appearances are designed to come and go. So it wants to reassert its identity in some way. That's all it can do, really.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, thanks, Bradley. Lovely to speak with you.
Bye.
Bye. Any more questions?
Maybe can you speak a little bit about maybe some clarification about seeing and knowing, kind of seeing or kind of knowing is the same for me. Kind of,
what do you mean by knowing, by this?
Yeah, it's kind of a clear seeing without being or just seeing or knowing.
Yeah. It's easy to destroy that sentence, but I'm sure you don't mean it like that, because there's not actually something that does see, there's just everything.
Yes.
But we can say seeing or knowing, but it's not an intellectual thing at all.
No.
It's totally intimate.
Yeah.
This is.
Yes. Yes. But I don't really know. I have a question maybe about something. Kind of a reflection of an object. It's kind of a reflection, like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but like a reflection in water from an object or something. The water doesn't know the reflection or the object, but it feels like there's a reflection, but also knowing of it in a way, which is not like a person, but just the intuitive knowing of the things that come in. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Completely not.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
This is.
It is nothing, but it's also something or nothing, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not known by someone, but it is.
No, not by a person, but it's known. Not just...
Yeah, you could say known.
How would you say it?
But it's... the reason why I stay away from those words is because it normally implies something's registering this, whereas the registration is in all its appearances, in the fact that it appears. But I mean, it's just getting down to pedantics. It's just trying to shuffle any position out.
Yeah, that's... maybe that was my question. Yeah. Kind of this knowing or seeing, that brings love, that brings...
It's absolute love.
A sensation, yeah.
It might come with a sensation of love, and that's a side effect though that will come and go.
That's seen also.
But also there is a love that's not a sensation. This intimacy, because when the position goes, there's this intimacy, but that intimacy often creates the sensation of love, which is really pleasurable. But that will come and go.
Yeah, that's seen also. It comes and goes.
But the intimacy, like where is the distance between you and me?
No.
I am this body is, and all this room has to be here in order for this to appear. Like this is the reflection of you, I suppose. That's where the love is. Everything's needed in order for this to happen. Or for you to know yourself. Well, I think that's the end now, unless anyone else has got a question. You're more than welcome to have a cup of tea and a biscuit before you go. You don't have to hurry off, but you can also hurry off. I won't be offended.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just when you get up, just warn me, just so, because the way dogs work when they're like her, is that anything that moves too close to her is a threat.
Yeah.
So she won't bite you, but she'll be like,
I don't mind about it.
yeah.